I, Zahara Bidi.
Hi, Elisha.
We
We are
are
software
software engineers.
engineers.
What we find fascinating about the rise of AI and ML.
AI and machine learning, which has been trending. It's a trending topic, and ChatGPT is one of them. It has been trending for in the US now. It is in Africa. For us, we are discussing it particular for our Africans who may not know much more about technology. So our discussions is just to enlighten them, and it's a learning process. So with me, I have a team. We have the names that we use on internet. It's called Elisha. I'm Jeff. She's Zahara. Okay, so these are the people that we will be meeting. We will be having more people on board to join us into this discussion, just to help improve on our understanding of how technology can transform
lives.
can better our lives. So that's the most important thing. So right now, we discussed few about self-driving cars. Okay, but in Africa we don't have maybe self-driving cars, but uh, Alicia pointed out clearly that these self-driving cars, they are actually, when we look at the Google Maps which are within them, they help in route planning. If you want to travel, suggest for you that this road is having traffic, there's no traffic on this road, and then it also reduces on accident because you don't sleep. Because the biggest problem that many why many drivers get accidents is because of sleep, yeah, sleep,
Drunk.
and then drunk. But all that is taken care of. So right now we were also able to look at how AI and machine learning has been used in industries. We looked at health, and then we also looked at business, and how we were able to use deep learning, machine learning in image processing. That's why we find some of this content worth discussing. So right now, we're probably going to look at one of the most important thing, which is quite easier for us to understand. For the viewers who don't know, is what could be the key benefits of AI? What do you feel about the impact of AI and machine learning in our society and in our economy? Pick any field and probably discuss more. Okay, let's narrow it down like this. We could look at it in terms of productivity, or we can look at it in terms of uh, efficiency in different industry or customer care. Remember, let me try to give you something. If you go to a supermarket and you're buying a product, so as a business person, I may not know the trends, the patterns, how people what people buy because I have the items in stock. But if I have an AI driven tool, it will take the stock, and I would know that this stock is the one that is highly consumed by my customers. So in that way, even when I'm making requests for the supplies, I would know what really my customers buy more from the supermarket. Or alternatively, you could look at it in terms of job skilling. How does AI impact our skill? Okay, because it's a learning platform. So all this, okay, maybe in terms of um, uh, we could also try to associate it with some of the opportunities that comes in. Of course, we know people will be laid off in terms of jobs, but also there is also these aspects of data science. I don't know if we could pick and discuss more on data science, because data science seems to be a field that it's a growing demand for all businesses. They are picking up interest into how to analyze data. Okay, and how AI is impacting this. It gives that insight, a data-driven insight, decision making, that people can use to generate idea. Like if I want to fire someone from my maybe someone is not performing, I base on the what they call it decision systems, because I would base on those records, like the sign in system and then the sign out, so I can track that in terms of productivity. Let's look at it in this aspect of we working remotely. Okay, let's talk about remote working, because all these are also driven by AI. And then you look at the aspect where you're collaborating on a document and you're working on it from this aspect of all of you are editing the same document on a Google Doc. So you would see each person's contribution and how much someone is contributing. So let's look at the benefits of AI, probably from the remote working perspective.
Yeah, I think we will just choose one area, which will be digital marketing.
Okay.
Uh, I think right now Google has the ability to help you advertise your product on Google in your specific area, in your locality, your target market. But I think that's not enough. We, the people who have products, should venture in this and use AI. Because of recent, you're going to realize that you can use AI to generate for you your articles, your blogs.
Mm.
We have 10Web, which is a platform that helps you generate your website. So it's erasing all this hassle of having to know a lot of code. All you have to do, provide your business, your company name, provide like 4 main services you provide, then you provide a description to generate for you a website that has almost everything. Now your role is just come. Even you choose the themes, what color do you want it to be? You choose the themes, you choose everything. So what you do is just you do a little editing. And this I think it's a threat for us who are really venturing in code. Okay, coding as our practice. So say you've been coding for website maybe for 300k. Now this guy, all he does do, he goes to 10Web, he pays his $10 per month. He already has hosting services embedded there. They generate for him a website. And if he modifies, can even find he can host 10 websites on the same. No, so they have cut off hosting and server costs. They have cut off development costs. They have cut off almost everything. So it's a AI. It's something that even us who really are we are venturing in technology, it's high time we started utilizing the AI tools. At least you have the physical skill, maybe for job seeking, but you have also the AI to aid you in your side hustles. Because let's say, I think if you're checking other developed countries, okay, in Uganda, I don't know about independent blogs that are there or websites, but there, very many people, you find a guy, he's maybe an Uber driver, but he owns a website, he owns, okay, passive income is a lot there. And I think AI has come to provide us alternative ways on how we can make or generate passive income.
That's true.
Yeah, that's mine is really how to utilize digital marketing. Let's sell what we have and we earn more money than waiting for a job.
Yeah, to me, let's probably discuss it. There are quite so many benefits of AI, ranging from productivity. You become very efficient at your workplace because of these AI tools. In a situation where you need to sit down and probably take 30 minutes to draft a letter, maybe a contract letter, you would spend much less time to write a letter. Actually, it probably takes you zero point 0.5 seconds to generate a letter. And you do some bit of editing and then personalize it to what you feel uh, is relevant to you. And then one other thing that I find it more interesting, let's look at it in terms of our dressing code. Okay, most of the tech guys do not mind about how they dress. But if you're interested into try to matching your fashion and you could use AI. This AI apps are there. They help you to pick up a design and attire to put on, and probably because you may to the ladies actually they spend a lot of time um, in their wardrobe trying to pick what they should put on. Yeah, so I find that is also another benefit of you see using AI because I could go do online shopping. I don't know in how Jumia is perfect, but I think Jumia is kind of like a web-based application where you order for a product and I don't know if it is an AI-driven app because it has.
Does it have AI in it?
I'm not sure because you see it. I don't see
Maybe they're just
recommendation.
incorporating it.
Yeah, because most apps in Uganda, most of the apps in Uganda, they are just static apps that does
What
the
they're supposed to
routine
do.
processing on it, ordering, and then I don't think they're because if really they were AI, they would even recommend which particular product am I searching for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we continue, I want her to discuss about the fashion
Uh,
issue where I recommending for your fashion. Would you find it important?
yeah. I would find it very important because at times you really want to put on something. You know, at times you put on something that is out of trend,
Yeah, that's true.
and majority of people want to keep themselves on trend. And when AI is put into those businesses, especially the fashion businesses, a person will be able to identify what's on trend, what matches this and this, what are the trending stalls, those stalls where we buy clothes. Uh, I feel like it will be very, very easy for people to fashion and design themselves. You know, like these celebrities, they
Yeah.
have fashion designers aside who they pay a lot
The
of
so-called fashion
money.
stars.
I know, right? So if AI is in, it's very like those people will no longer be needed.
Yeah,
You will even save your income. Maybe like you save your income, you have that website that is having AI incorporated in it. It's where you'll always search for your new fashions and all that instead of having a fashion star. Fashion star will always come in to design what you've just seen. Yes, I feel like it will be a very, very good
Yeah.
thing in fashion.
But in this case, then where will our fashion stars go?
The
What
fashion,
should they
that's
do?
what I've usually talked about. They should always look at, you know, we have to change with change. So they will always also find a way of
Survival.
survival. That is, they could maybe make their own websites that are AI driven, so that instead of sitting down and working fashion like designing one person, they design a variety. They have their own websites with AI incorporated in, and it, they make their own businesses that can look at a wider market instead of sitting at one or two people, especially those top people, celebrities, and all those people who are
Yeah.
more into fashion.
But I think they would come up with websites. Obviously, they train the models depending on their own mind, how they feel like they've been doing their fashion recommendations,
Yes.
and then they make it payable. If you want access and see their designs, you first pay some money.
Yeah,
And you,
and that's how they could. And I could also look at another benefit of AI in the health sector. You know, the health sector usually employs a lot of people, and those people are given a lot of money. For example, when I go to the hospital, I will need to go for testing. But if AI is highly and highly incorporated in those health sectors, it will be very hard to employ a lot of people, and the government will find it easy to finance the health sector, whereby where you could go and test for blood, maybe malaria and all that, the diseases could be tested using AI models. So that could reduce on the finances that are being put into the health sector. And also, it could also help, you know, at times doctors are not perfect, but an AI model is also not perfect, but at least it can be better than a doctor.
but on that point of testing malaria, I don't know. I remember there's some group of students are working on a project to test for malaria without taking
Yes.
a blood sample. So honestly, people are really trying to be innovative in this area.
Without taking a blood sample?
Yeah, I remember. It's actually
Or
here.
from Mark, actually.
Yeah, they're from here, actually. Yeah, I think Rutana is part of them.
Yeah, even Kathy, they had to pass by the Huawei. It was a Huawei competition. Yeah.
So let's say guys are really trying to venture in the health sector, see how they can make it more, how it can utilize technology.
Yeah.
And I think this is really a good idea. But however, I feel like something is lacking, more especially in our setup, in our Ugandan setup. Because you're going to find every time you come up with an innovation, you have to seek from abroad. Like,
Financing.
yeah, you have every time, whether it's good for the community or not.
Yet we the people in can develop the AI models, and instead of going in for donation, we can change the investment part of it, like the donations we get in from those countries, and we use our own knowledge to fund our own souls.
Yeah,
So,
that's,
yeah.
I think it would be really so important. So, real AI is over. Let's look at the impact of ChatGPT on the education system.
Majority of the teachers, I even had that in Kenya, it was
Banned, yeah.
banned, but I feel like it's not a good word.
That's, I think,
It's not a good
yeah, it might
idea.
think it was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Was it?
To ban
Were they
AI.
fake news?
No,
Actually,
it was, I think it's true. I remember, so like Ruto talked about it, we shall try to dig in and see more. But AI has an impact on education.
education a very, very big impact, because they really need to know how we should change with technology because
Yeah.
we shall not lag behind as the world is developing. So I feel like they should even allow us subscribe for premium
Bigger.
packages and all that.
Yeah, Mr. Jeff, we're looking at AI in
The
education.
education
Where aren't
sector.
your view as a lecturer? What do you have to say about this? Do you think your students you should utilize ChatGPT to the optimum, or they
Or-
should stay away from it?
Let me come back to this frame again on the aspect of AI in education.
Yeah.
I think if I go back to our traditional ways, I find it that it makes the kids to become more research driven, especially when it comes to AI in education. You guys, in the past, how we used to do some of this coding, I think 10 years ago, I used to write some of this code. Probably would be one of the hardest things to understand. But these days, even if a lecturer does not give you a good concept, I can just run to BARD or I can go to Chat GPT. Actually, it reduces even some of the assignments. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, okay?
Accurate.
I know why you people are now uh, laughing, because you see, I give you an assignment, but I know that 100% someone has tried it, and once it's already the solution is somewhere, and you find whenever I give you the assignment, you just copy that keyword, paste it anywhere, it gets you exactly. But the problem now, let me tell you. You see, that assignment, it's not about copying and pasting. Because when you copy and paste, I've seen people who use ChatGPT and they get zero. Okay?
Yeah, that's
Because the lecturer can detect. Like me, I can detect. And I know that this person copied the code and pasted it without adding in the effort. You see, when what personally what I need is that what changes have you added to the code? What value have you added to the code that you have copied and pasted?
But yeah,
That's why I have been marking most of your assignments. I find people copy codes from ChatGPT, paste it. Copy code from BARD, paste it. Now I also copy that code, I take it back there. You see? Yes, and I find it's the same thing. Someone has not even changed. Okay?
But what I
but
learned
first wait.
about those AI
But
models,
it's because
he
people
can
haven't trained their models. I could train my chat.
Mm.
Even give me my code. It uses Ugandan names. It uses, because you could tell it, I want you to generate for me code at beginner level. I want you to generate code in a developing country, something. Okay, like you really tell it everything. In that
everything,
you
the
can
prompting,
generate
yeah.
all of this, the prompting. Trust me. At one point, look, I'm not saying you won't be able to detect this, but for someone, if he trains their chat very well, specifically for Python, the feed, because at the end of the day, the more data you give it, the better it becomes.
Yeah.
That's
So
very
if,
true.
if I've been following maybe your lectures, because I remember there's some guy I was seeing on Twitter, he was like, how to use ChatGPT to generate for you a better blog. He says, he's told, is like, you see, he went to his blog, he's like, this is my blog, he copied it and he input it. Then he told it, in what human voice, in what tone was this blog written? It replies like, it's rational, it's emotional, it's motivational, it's what. This guy is like, in the same human tone and voice, generate for me a blog about this. It generated a blog that was, honestly, it had human language, like you couldn't
Take that
hesitate.
it's
You
a botic kind of
yeah,
a
you
chat
at no
bot.
time, because remember when you ask it in what human voice, it told you it was rude, was this, and you tell it, so it will fall on your own patterns, you as a person, because at the end of the day, for write blogs, your human voice will be different from mine. My punctuation, maybe for my punctuate after every like 6 words, I make sure my things are short. Yours are, you write long sentences. It will adjust according to my writing skills.
Yeah, but what I would advise students to do personally, to to maybe convince us that you've done some level of input in, let's say, in any assignment that you're given. I would prefer you to get the code, but make some changes to it. Okay, you do not
To try
just
to
do not
understand the code.
replicate it directly. Just because that's a bad image. You're trying to show me that you're all this lazy. I can't change anything
Yeah, yeah.
because each and every time I try to look at the codes that students have sent. I see now, this one, okay, you copy this. Now, should I give you marks? No. I just move to the next person. So I do not waste a lot of my time. But a situation where you pick the code, even trying to change the words which are there, I said, okay, probably this person now even understand.
Yeah, you
Because
went
when
through
you
the
don't
code.
understand it, you fear change. You say,
But
if I
doesn't
change and it doesn't work,
I know, right?
you get it.
Yeah.
So you end up throwing in the codes the way they are.
Mm.
So that's one thing that in the field of education, students should really think about that aspect. Yeah, it is good to reuse code. We know this is a programming trend in this era. But in the past, people would write what? Would add code. You write your codes from scratch. But these days, it's not. It's waste of time because whatever idea that you want to implement, someone maybe has already implemented it. Okay, that's why these days I find even lecturing much easier. I go to write my code. I know at the back of my mind, I don't know, I have not stored any of my code here, but I know the flow of my code. Then I just look at Copilot as my driving
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't actually focus on what, on even having the code here. My mind is just keep to what Copilot suggests. I tab it. But if I feel it's going to generate a problem, I delete it and I change to what I feel is what is
Yeah,
work.
that-
So that's why in most cases I personally find lecturing has become easier using this Copilot. It's an AI driven thing because Copilot is a product of Microsoft. You know, in the Microsoft Dev Talk, they discuss more about what Copilot can do. Or it automates suggestions so that you can probably see what matches with what you're doing. And two,
Is it only strict to code and particular languages?
you see, Copilot has been there before, but they have just made it easier. It works with almost all those programming languages. You know, VS Code is a Microsoft
Yeah.
application. So the beauty is that the developers have put in a lot of what effort to make sure that you can customize the VS Code, and then with those extensions, so that you can run any installations that you need in any language. And one thing, if we get back to AI in these programming languages, in the past, Zara can be a testimony. She said that one of her best language was Java because the lecturer
was good.
was good.
It was the first language she learned.
It was the
That was
first language she
second.
learned.
Second.
But I just want to tell you that, in fact, all programming languages are easy. Like to me, I can teach any programming languages, even if I don't have a background in any of those languages, as long as I understand the syntax. You see, there's some website, W3 School,
Yeah.
they made it simpler to explain all those programming languages.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the only thing is it is not advanced. Okay?
Yes.
It's just too basic to understand. But now to intrigue your mind to understand some of the advanced programming concepts, that is when now you think about the chat GPT and then the BARD. Then you can ask it to write for you the similar code, maybe if you're dealing with Matplotlib, and say, okay, please, could you write for me an advanced code of Matplotlib? It will generate for you. You see, that's why most of you are going to find it much difficult in this aspect of our Python for data science, because our data set, I'm trying to avoid a situation where you go to Kaggle, you go to graph.org to get a data set from there. Probably they have worked out the solutions for you. But I want a situation where we have an original data set. So there's no way. The only thing which will work is the idea that is implemented. You would see whether it can also be implemented on your same code. That's why, me personally, I create my data set. And the fact that I create them, they're unique. You can't find the solutions there. Because you see, the target data is always different. Even maybe you look at maybe the data types. Okay, the shape of your data, the columns and what. So you find it's quite more different. Even because the chat GPT will not be able to read that data set. It doesn't know where the data set is from. Okay? But you could just go there to ask question on how best can I analyze a data in a CSV format or JSON or an XML format file. Then it will show you
But
the steps, what you
Mr.
can
Jeff,
do. Yes.
I have a question. So I have a Kaggle account, right?
Mm.
So if I upload the data set there, won't it read it from there?
When you upload it there, it won't read.
Sure.
Go try, yes.
I'll try it.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT-4. Because remember, ChatGPT-4 has a chance to search online to tell you one moment as I search the net.
Okay.
For ChatGPT-3,
You try.
I'll try that.
Try and upload the data set there and try it
And
out.
we try it out and see.
Clean the data and do all the necessary operations in the
Yeah,
data.
I try to. You try to refer it and be like this site, this website. Then clean it for me and I see what to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
you try it out and probably I'll get you feedback on that. But you see,
Yeah.
all this happens because now you're understanding it much better
Yeah.
and you gain the confidence how some of these AI driven
Because
tools
I think
are.
at the end of the day, it's how best can we maneuver the world. Sorry, how best can we get our tasks completed with a lot of with accuracy? Because as she had talked about the Ruto president, the president of Kenya, trying to fight ChatGPT. To you, is it a good tech or a bad tech?
I think those people are living in their old eras, the old age eras. You see, ChatGPT has come to stay. If you don't embrace it, you'd be left behind. Because you see, we are living in a continent, in the world. So if you do not, you see, one thing with innovation and technology, you guys, we are all in the tech industry. If you do not embrace technology, just know you're going to be left behind. And once you're left behind, the gap between the people who uses technology and those who do not use technology will be wide. That means even when you go and you want to communicate to them, you'll find that their conversation is not always interesting. Yeah? You find like you're dealing with a baby class kind of a mindset. That's why even these days it is very difficult for a man who uses more of conversational AI tools or chatbots to get probably an educated woman to stay with. It is practically impossible to me.
Is it true?
I think I think people used to suffer from getting lines for ladies, but now I think with ChatGPT, even I think Snapchat. I've never used Snapchat, but I think Snapchat has that tool for chatting with the bot, a chatbot thing. So I think guys of late, even the memers, at the end of the day, I think it's so beneficial that if I can generate the good lines, pick up lines, you can generate this are from ChatGPT.
But then the updated ladies who know ChatGPT,
But
I'll know that it's ChatGPT
Zara,
generated.
Now,
how would you know?
now
let's tell
let
us
me
how she would
throw
know.
back this question to Zara. There are so many acronyms that are being used in this modern era.
Yeah.
OMG, LMO, you get it? So there are these words that always someone can type to you. You know, I can talk to you in those acronyms, but if you're not updated, you would totally say that, what the heck is this person
Yeah,
doing?
yeah,
Okay?
yeah, yeah.
So Zara, what do you think in a situation we all use what? Okay. Billions of people use WhatsApp.
Yes,
I don't know the exact, but let me use billions of people use WhatsApp. But now I'm chatting to you. This is a live chat. I'm chatting to you on WhatsApp, you're replying me. And I'm using these acronyms. LMO, OMG, so and more.
LOL,
LOL,
yeah.
you get it? So now you tell me, compare the aspect, because Ruto is trying to ban the use of this. Probably that is his thinking. I still don't have data,
But
or I don't have evidence
I
for
don't
that.
know whether that is true.
No,
Is it true?
all I know he wasn't good with it at the start. I don't know if he changed his mind, but I watched the clip myself of him disregarding ChatGPT. That's it.
So this is a disclaimer. I don't have evidence for. I'm just hearing that they talked about Ruto trying to avoid ChatGPT in
GPT,
school.
yeah.
But if you have a link to any source that we can relate to as our evidence, probably to help to guide this discussion. But for now, we shall just allege it's an alleged kind of a word, because we also don't want you to come and comment negatively about in our comment section what we are discussing. But what I feel we are talking about is very healthy. It's a healthy talk. So I think most of you are picking. You would also keep up with our pace in the field of tech talk here. Yeah. So let's get back to Sarah. So let's just tell me, in you as a human being, as a lady who has gone to the university, eh, what is your take on people who have not gone to school and they are using the same platform? Because WhatsApp is for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you have a smartphone. And then how do you find dating? How do you find dating a man in this aspect? Talking to a guy and the guy is totally green about some of these acronyms.
That's a red flag.
Is it a red flag?
That's a red flag, because I will
Okay.
not deal with someone who am far better in information.
Mm.
We call it being lit. Okay, being up to date. I feel like you're so local.
Mm.
You don't know what I'm really talking about.
Okay.
I use a slang or an acronym, like you say.
Mm.
He's
Again,
out.
it's like
What are you
say.
saying? Can you imagine? That's a pure, like a red flag in the first place.
Yeah, you see, most of the time, I've tried with like you go out, meet friends, then start chatting to them, and each and every time you type, say, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" Like it's like every time you type, you're supposed to answer yourself.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
a
where
red flag.
most of us go wrong about this. I think even parents, old people,
Mm.
one thing I think they should focus on is getting exposure for their kids. I know these things come along with consequences or bad things like exposure to weird websites, maybe pornography, maybe the kids. But however, I feel if your kids have been nurtured in the right way, they can always have this of distinctive of choosing between what's good and right. So, but because if you leave your kid behind, you're preventing him from accessing pornography, and he misses out on the trends in the world. I think he won't enjoy his youth.
Not
Your
even,
kid-
in fact, every kid should have a phone.
Yeah.
Now, I think I'm going to ask these questions. We all have villages, okay?
Mm.
Let's first discuss about some of these demerits on these technologies. We all go for Christmas and we reach the village, everyone is on their phone. What's your take on that? Has technology captured us into a prison where we cannot leave our gadgets
Without a phone.
and then talk to a real
I
human being?
I know, right? Yeah.
But okay,
So what's your say?
my honest take on that is it's just character, just people. Because me, honestly, she has a phone, I have a phone, but she can tell. Me, I can spend the whole day without touching my phone.
You're different, but people are there. You can spend, like, even when you're in speeches, people are giving speeches. You find majority on their own things, websites. Even when you're in a room. Yesterday,
Yeah.
actually, we brought a real topic. Yesterday, I was in my room with my roommate. Then I was smiling on my phone. Then she was like, "Why are you smiling?" She's also on her phone, and I'm like, I'm just smiling because something made me smile. And she's like, technology has boosted all of us. We are here, we are together, we are friends, but you can spend the whole day on your phone without talking to me. So that implies
And in the
that is-
same room.
In the same room.
Okay.
That is a consequence. Even at home, you can, like, some of us, even if you give me a phone, you give me data, I can spend my whole day in the room without, like, even if I don't talk to anyone. So I feel like it's a negative consequence of technology. People are no longer social. Like, they are social in online, virtually, but when you tell them the introverts are being, I think they're
That was
finding
their
it a
savior.
very yeah.
But okay, to me, still, I don't find that as so much negative. If I don't want to talk to you, man, why should I talk to you? I'll talk to you when I want you.
But then it's also not good.
So it's not good.
It will not bring that closer relationship between you.
But
You physical.
I think
physical
we have to
connection.
accept this. I think our grandpas, when they're growing up, they used to have their family gatherings, their talks around the fire. All that has gone, right? So let's embrace what we have. Let's just try to have the moral aspect of us, where maybe if somebody wants to talk to you, to talk to them, give them time. If you are at an event, those are just ethics that we have to learn. if I've gone to church, let me maybe switch off my phone or leave it back at home. If
And
I know
it's-
I'm so addicted to my phone,
Yes, yes.
I leave it back home. I go to church.
But if you're in church and you're in church, 50% of the people on their phone, and 50% others are concentrating.
Yeah, that time.
What do you
that
talk
time,
about
that time in church, I was sitting with some lady and she spent the entire mass writing whatever they were preaching in phone. To me, I don't know. I don't think it was right, but to her, she liked it. She everything when they are preaching, she's writing.
Yes.
But I feel like it looks weird. Because if a message pops up, you have to see it. A notification comes, you have to see it. So I think these are just ethics that we just have to develop by ourselves. And those who can't, still you can't condemn them because they think they're doing what's right for them.
Now, I watch a video. I'm going to drop the video somewhere. A parent removed a tablet from I don't know. I don't know the exact age, but I think between 4 to 5 years. She removed the tab because the kid was addicted to the tab. She can't eat, and she decided to confiscate the tablet. The kid just packed all her belongings in a small suitcase and walked away from the home. And the parents were there. I said, okay, bye. So the kid decided to walk, moved along the road. She wanted to go, but she has no idea where
Where
she
she's
can
going.
go.
Going, yeah.
But because she has developed that maturity from learning so much from the internet, that if my parents confiscate my item, I can leave home, because that's probably what she has been learning.
Yes.
Now, the context of how these parents approach it and said, okay, I'm leaving. The parents said bye and opened the door. The kid decided to walk. She moved like almost 100 meters, but she realized, but where am I going? Then when she looked left, right, she realized that she could not go anywhere.
She came back.
She came back home. Then when she came back home, the parents said that the reason why I removed the phone is because this is going to be your captivity for the rest of your life. We stay with you in the same room, but you stay in your own, because these kids have their own room.
And how will you
They
know?
stay in their own room for even 2 or 3 days without even coming out, because they come grab what they want, take to their room. You don't know what time they pick stuff from the fridges, but you will never see them
So,
coming back.
Let me have a question for you guys, both of you. At what time did you start using Facebook?
I was 12 years.
Like 12 years. And you, Mr. Jeff? Like
No, I think I joined Facebook in 2009.
2009. Let's look at the time when we were joining Facebook. What was your experience? I'm sure you wouldn't spend that day without
Actually,
opening your
it
Facebook.
was 208.
208.
Yeah, because my first contact with technology was in 2004. My dad bought for me a desktop computer and put it in my boy's photo. So even before joining the university, I knew that all my life is going to be centered about tech. And I've impacted over 2 million. I've actually impacted to over 2 or 3 million people in Africa and the world in the field of technology,
Yeah.
in terms of problem solving and other aspects. So my interaction with Facebook, I'm giving you this background so that you understand my how probably so much into tech than any other field.
That was
Now-
2008.
That was 2008.
This was 2012.
She was
So,
in 2012.
Yeah, I think mine was 2009 around there.
Yeah.
But
But you were a kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
But you see, during those times, you would make sure one, you'd open an account not using your own age because you aren't old enough.
Yes.
You get someone to open for you.
For you.
You make sure you. At that time, when I was using Facebook, every time you.
You reminded me
Because
about
remember, you had no data, you had no. But you had to do it legally. You go and I'd make sure every day I would open my Facebook account. But today, I blocked my Facebook account. I deactivated it. I think
I'm also among people who have deactivated.
so.
I
You see,
also
Mhm. You see, I think sometimes solving a solution.
Okay, why I don't like about Facebook is that if you want to be private, Facebook is more of an AI driven tool. It suggests your contact to almost everyone. You find
the people around you,
Yeah,
You don't know
that's
them.
the
that's
people you
something.
may know actually. What I've seen, the people you may know, all the people around you in your region, they're the people they will bring.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
say I'm from
but
Kampala,
Mm.
they'll bring
but that's
Kawempe, they'll bring all the people from
my
Kawempe.
main concept here was, you see, the excitement you had for Facebook later vanished.
Mm.
Okay, Instagram. Now I'm still on Instagram, but I don't use it as I used to do it. The way I used to go there looking for followers. Even Twitter, by the twist from I don't want followers. I just want to learn what I want. It's the things that you keep. If you're a person, maybe you are an influencer, now you seek for the followers. It's about defining yourself. So I think even the kids themselves, if you try to prompt them, limit them from accessing such gadgets, they keep getting that excitement. They just can't wait to have it.
To have it, yes,
But in
yes.
case they have it early, trust me, at one point,
They
they'll
would,
be, even it's not the guy can't. It's not of that
they reach a time when
importance.
they're not excited.
The excitement goes and it becomes a normal gadget to them.
Yeah.
Then on the issue of you discuss about Facebook, those social media apps. I think we find it because for us in the tech world, we tend to understand the pros and cons of these social media apps
Yeah.
a lot. But even I was very shy to even be on camera personally. Almost everything is within my cycle, private. I used to do a lot of, but when I realized that where I'm running away, people are making billions money from it. I said, wait a minute. The people who are making money from it don't understand this technology. I do understand it much better than them, but I'm not using it to make money. They're there chilling, taking limitless trips across African countries, but I'm struggling to make 15 trips in a year in a different country. Then I said, wait a minute. Why don't I use this platform, you people who are watching me, like, share, and then subscribe, so that I also start now embracing the travel. But that's the content. You see, when you understand the technology, you feel about. That's why now we control what you see, and then you don't know what happens behind the scene, the uncut versions of what happens here, because we only control what you should see. But what I have realized about this social media, they are very good in the aspect that if you want to leverage onto your finances, you can use them. Even Makerere University would not wish to be on any social media platform. Makerere opened a YouTube channel. Now they are even encouraging people to go for professional, inaugural lectures for this talk, so that most of these lecturers can get promotions that comes along with. You get it. So that is one of the aspects, because if you really know what you're doing, come to the YouTube. You're speaking to the old world. You're not deceiving people. That's why when you pick up a topic to discuss here, we feel that we know the topic and we are discussing it. That's why we are staying relevant to our what we know. We're discussing what we have studied. We're discussing what we have, what's our interest.
Yeah.
So that's why we want you to use technology, understand it, learn it, and then better off yourself to make money. But personally, I ran away from Facebook because of that kind of suggestion. Find you have very many following, and the bad thing, have you ever, I don't know you people, have you ever held your phone and go to social media and you find all messages people are seeking for help because of, you know, the image, it's quite worse with Instagram. What they show on the internet, you may think that's the life they are living.
Yes, that's very right. Remember, they will, even TikTok. When a person is
Talk
shooting
about
a
it.
video, when a person is shooting a video, of course, even if I live in a very ugly home, I'll look for a very good environment. I'll look for the best attire. I'll look for the best everything. When I go out, I go for like expensive places. I'll only show you expensive life. You start admiring the person. They start following you up. They think you are cool kid. They have that trend of cool kid, planned kid.
Plan kids.
But in actual sense, when you find that person, trust me, he's a very different person from the one you see on social media. There is some girl, I have an experience. She's called Mama Kampala. Mama Kampala is in Makerere University. She's trending on Twitter. I used to say, who is this girl? I was passing by Nkuruma Hall. I saw Mama Kampala. I was like, oh, yes, she didn't look so different, but I was surprised. So I think at times this technology or internet is showing us different people from who they are.
Yeah.
It could also be a con, like a problem, but it can also be good. Since people will have to show good what people want to see and get followers. Of course, I will always follow you to see what's up. How we, I've gone to Kasese, I've gone here, those. So I'll always follow you because of that. Yeah. So I think it's a con and it's also a disadvantage, or rather a pro, an advantage.
So what's your advice?
Well, of course, I will not remove what is already uh, in. People have already taken that. Even me, when I'm shooting a video, I'll look for a nice place or something that will attract the people. So I feel like it's not a bad thing. They should take it on. And I would also want to ask, what the movie industry is one of the biggest industries in the world. People, some people cannot. I know, Elisha, you cannot spend a whole week without going to Netflix or watching any of these series. So, what do you think? How do you see technology in the movie industry? What is the key benefit of technology? AI actually in the movie industry.